This is for Holly.
I know.
I've been waiting for this all
I've been waiting for 3 years, Phil, not just all morning.
Got another show for you to watch during lockdown.
Yeah, it's literally one of my favourites. And at long last, Series 2 of A Discovery of Witches is here, and one of our favourite Victoria stars is joining the cast. You see, and that's the bit that not allowed. Right, Tom Hughes is here. Welcome, welcome. It's really lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining. And honest to God, you've kept us waiting. It's been 3 years since the first series, and I'm trying to sort of remember what happened, really. So to kind of, anybody that doesn't know, just sort of set up this relationship between Diana and Matthew, who we saw there, and why it was so important that he said, she's my wife.
Okay, so Series 1, Diana, played by Teresa Palmer, is a witch, but kind of in denial of her powers. And she accidentally calls this book that becomes kind of known as the Book of Life. And it's got the ingredients of how the supernatural world, witches, vampires, and demons came to be. And that kind of alerts the whole supernatural world to this book and to her potential power. Matthew's character, Matthew, which is confusing, but Matthew's character, Matthew, is a vampire, and he kind of follows Diana, and there's this blossoming love story. And at the end of season 1, I don't want to give too much away in case people want to binge it before Friday, but they leave the modern world. And season 2 starts with that scene pretty much, which you've seen, which is them landing back in the 1590s. And Matthew's character has lived right through that period, and we kind of view that world through the prism of him, but he's changed quite a lot.
So what's the relationship between Matthew and Kit, then? Bearing in mind, be careful here, because I am going to binge this before Friday. I will be there. I will have done it by then. So go easy on me here.
Please only Phillip, yeah. So I don't want to give too much away, but basically, the Matthew that we meet in the modern world has lived through all these hundreds of years. The Matthew that was in Kit's world has gone to Scotland 2 weeks before. And so when he arrives back, he's different. He's changed. He's obviously got the life experience of the 500 years he's lived. And Kit is thrown out of sorts because of that, because their relationship, they were part of this kind of group called the School of Knights, colloquially called that. And they were these kind of heretic, emotionally hedonistic group that went around, and suddenly Matthew has changed. And Kit, I guess, is the Mercutio to Matthew's Romeo. And so in this moment, he's kind of thrown out that his best friend is no longer who he's meant to be. And it sets this whole wheel in motion for Kit of emotional kind of despair and so on.
And a lot of that is to do with the fact that he's married a witch, and that is just not the way things are done. That is not how it should be. So it's their relationship in particular that he is struggling with.
100%, because, you know, that kind of goes against the whole code of what it is, you know, in the supernatural world. There are certain things to make sure that everything is kind of finely balanced. They need to find that equilibrium between your witches, your demons, your vampires. What Matthew has done in marrying Diana could set the whole thing kind of alight. And particularly, that is one thing that terrifies Kit. And there's also the emotional side that he's in love with this man. And he needs to know that he still has that security back from him. And the fact that he's married this woman without him even knowing her, and the kicker, she's a witch, it's just the worst thing Kit could discover.
It's like grown-up Twilight.
Yeah, OK,
That's what I was trying to think what it was, because it's got a bit of Harry Potter, but it's like grown-up Twilight.
Yeah, no, I'm all over this.
Yeah, it's good.
Absolutely all over it. And also the fact that Kit, that's the sort of nickname, it's actually Christopher Marlowe, who was a real person.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for me, that was a really big pull for the character, because, you know, I know you mentioned Victoria before, Phillip. Having spent 3 years for the part, which is the first time I've done that, I was quite keen to try new things and I've never done anything in the fantasy world before. And growing up, I didn't watch a ton of films, so I'd never really discovered it as a escapism. So I was really keen to do something that felt different. And then this came along. I'd seen the first series. I thought it was brilliant. I'm a big fan of Matthew's work, and I've been lucky enough to work with him before, and that was a big attraction. But also the kicker for me, like you say, is Christopher Marlowe's a real person. Yeah. And so I've got all those things I would usually go for in terms of social realism to build the character from, which was amazing. And he's a fascinating guy. He's, you know, the real guy was, like I said, he's got this emotional hedonism. He's wild, he's crazy, he's independent of thought, and there's a danger to him, which is always exciting to play.
Well, what was lovely is that, I remember the last time you came in here, I think we were talking about accents and the fact that you kept sort of getting these roles that had accents, and he doesn't.
Well, he does for me, because I'm Northern, so, I mean, it is...
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Okay. But then he doesn't then, no.
I mean, you said Matthew Goodday, you're a big fan of his, but you've been very lucky. You've worked with some incredible actors in your time, and Dame Judi Dench being one of them. As an actor, was she just everything you hoped she was going to be?
Yeah, she was amazing. Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually get to act with her, which is my only regret. There's been a couple of people like that. I was in a film with Ray Winston years ago and didn't get to act with him. You know, that I'd love to be able to do that, but as a person, she was just incredibly kind and generous. And Sophie, who was playing the same part as her, you know, obviously there's a bit of pressure when you meet Judi Dench and you go, we're sharing a part, how do we do it? And she's incredibly generous, incredibly kind. And if you're going to meet a hero, you want them to be like that. And you know, I watched the show about Billy Connolly the other day, you know, and I found it really moving, actually. But also you kind of realise that Billy Connolly, I think, is the Billy Connolly you see, and you want those idols to be that. You don't want them to. You don't want it to be a pretense. And Judi Dench was completely everything you'd hope she would be.
Yeah,
absolutely. She's an amazing woman, and I'm also one of her biggest fans, as everybody knows. Listen, the portfolio is looking fantastic. We're looking at what you've got. We can't talk about them now, but you have to come back and talk about them. Shepherd, psychological horror, 80s film. 80% of the film you're on an island on your own with a dog, and a huge budget Infinite with Mark Wahlberg. I mean, this is all looking amazing stuff. So will you come back and talk to us about those when they're a bit closer?
Of course I will, yeah, definitely.
Lovely. In which case, we'll look forward to talking to you about those. Discovery of Witches, Series 2 starts Friday at 9 on Sky One and Now TV. I will absolutely be there. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Tom, see you soon.
Bye-bye.